Thanks for clicking the Reddity Rose report. Got a lot of information here. Let's get started. The current plan is to keep Brock Lesnar off of TV until around August, probably, and that's going to be building towards the match of August 21st, SummerSlam from Brooklyn. And it was originally reported that Lesnar could be facing Bray Wyatt or Braun Strowman in the next match, but the officials kind of changed their mind on that for Strowman's push anyway. Strowman was originally planned for the big push to win at the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania 32, but it was the push was kind of halted after they got a kind of a bad reaction to the Raw match with Dean Ambrose, and had just kind of reactions to the report of Strowman facing Brock Lesnar or Undertaker, and they kind of nixed all that stuff. So I don't know whether he needs a little more fine tuning or he needs to show that he's more of a monster than what he is. But right now they don't have anybody for Lesnar lined up. TMZ, of course, you know about the Adam Rose deal. He faced a judge in Hillsborough County, Florida yesterday morning. And the judge wanted to put a restraining order on Rose to keep him away from his wife, but she begged in court to reconsider so he could come home and help raise their special needs child, which he does have. Rose was brought in wearing shackles and an orange jumpsuit as a misdemeanor domestic battery, but anyway, the felony is part is tampering with a witness after Wednesday's arrest. But anyway, the lawyer argued that his actions were not aggressive or painful, but more of a passionate, hey, looks, let's talk, to his wife. But Rose was accused of grabbing his wife's face while screaming at her during an argument, and then took the phone away from her when she went to call for help, 911. That's the felony part. And the judge mentioned another domestic instance between the two that happened back in March, and he was kind of concerned about the pattern of abusive behavior. But anyway, the judge ended up changing his mind, or the wife ended up changing the judge's mind and didn't do the restraining order, but set a bond of $1,000. Of course, you violate that, you're gone with no bond. So anyway, as far as I know, he's out. But he's ordered to see his pastor at least once a week for counseling. Next court date's in June. Dan previously reported about RYBACK kind of being discussed for release too. Clearly, that hasn't happened yet. But in the case of RYBACK, is not expected to work for the company, but is it's just easier to let the company to let his contract just expire rather than releasing. But anyway, the decision on RYBACK's future was actually made before 1st of May's Payback, where he lost to Kalisto on the pre-show. That's an insult. Kind of an insult when you get on the pre-show. That's not good. RYBACK was sent home from Raw the next day after meeting with Vince McMahon over his contract. But a number of issues led to RYBACK being sent home and said to be very far apart on money. So RYBACK wanted, hotel bills paid, for when he was traveling, and wanted road expenses paid for. RYBACK also wanted his contract to be guaranteed for the full term, and that if he was released for any reason, he'd still be able to get paid the full amount for the length of the contract. While some WCW wrestlers, had a similar deal years ago, that's never been an option in WWE. But he tried, didn't get it. So now you need to come back for something else. I hate to see him go, really. And on a related note, reported that Cameron was not on the internal list of being releases, but she got cut anyway. Of course, Cameron put out support of RYBACK's equal pay on the internet. This was never made public until now, or it wasn't made public when it happened either, but it's now being made public. The TMZ reported this week that CHYNA was found unconscious outside of her Redondo Beach, California apartment back in November of 2015. Police told TMZ they received a call about a woman lying unconscious about 7 a.m. when they arrived. So they found the former Intercontinental Champion. Reportedly had bloodshot eyes, slurred speech, and reeked of alcohol. Sounds like to me Friday, for me. But anyway, she admitted to police that she'd been drinking wine that night before, and she decided to sleep outside because she was struggling to get her key in the keyhole. She just gave up. Sounds like a Saturday morning to me. But anyway, police determined CHYNA was too drunk to take care of herself, and she was booked for public intoxication. Well, anyway, CHYNA also was in possession of almost a $20,000 worth of cash, which she had earned, believe it or not, from an autograph session. I'm going to start doing autographs, I guess. Maybe nobody will come, but boy. CHYNA was found dead, of course, April 20th at the same apartment. Cause of death hadn't been released yet, but investigating as an accidental overdose. And the dying talent, by the way, that's been released is the Brawler, Brooklyn Brawler, Damian Sandow, Barrett Hornswoggle, El Torito, Alex Rowley, Zeb Colder, Santino Morella, and Cameron. And last week, as Christian was also released from his contract. But really wasn't too much said about that. But Christian's release did not have to do with his contract, with his agreement with the to do the Edge and Christian show. It's more of a technicality of no longer having an active performer contract, in the ring type contract. Christian hasn't been scheduled to wrestle any at all since his concussion he got March 14th, and then stopped, using it because he had a history of concussions. Looking out for him, really. He remained under a performance contract till now, but still affiliated with the company, though. 8 superstars, like I said, been released. And they expect there's ongoing company-wide terminations still coming. Another round of cuts is expected after the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, so we'll see what happens there. Usually it's announced on Fridays, but that means they can announce it really any time, unless they decide to wait. We've heard rumors of another surprising WWE release, a woman's star, and one who's been considered as a top superstar. And it's noted that stays of execution, let's say, are always possible for some talent. They go late into the negotiation. They can renegotiate and still stay there. Word is that releases are being made clear the way for new signings. And WWE, of course, implied that to Damian Sandow that his release was a timing thing for the company, and felt they need to freshen up the roster. In fact, Vince McMahon during his week's first quarter earnings call that over the next month or so, WWE will have more talent on the roster than ever before. While Dana Brooke, she was called up, of course, from the main roster. Decision was made for Bayley to stay in NXT for a little while longer because they don't have another top female babyface star to replace her down there. And by the way, some kind of bad news on this, that former WWE and WCW star Mark Merrill, he was diagnosed with heart problems this past week. The 55-year-old scheduled for surgery on Monday in Cleveland. Mark fought heart disease for the past 10 years after having a heart valve replaced surgery in 2007. Merrill had been preparing for surgery in late 2014, but his enlarged heart shrunk, and he was told he didn't need the operation at that time, and eventually he would most likely sometime would. But Marl continued to speak to kids around the country about drug abuse and steroids and anti-bullying in the meantime. And Japan has confirmed this week that July 1st and 2nd live events in Sumo Hall in Tokyo are already sold out, including some meetings. I guess they're saying something about Nakamura taking on Bray Wyatt, but of course it could always change. July 1st, the show over there, just to let you know what they're up to, AJ Styles versus Owens versus Reigns for the, of course, championship. Usos versus the Vaudevillains versus Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson versus New Day. Natalya taking on a women's champion Charlotte. Becky Lynch taking on Asuka. John Cena taking on Jericho. Yep, he'll be back. Wyatt taking on Nakamura, and Titus O'Neil taking on Baron Corbin. The second day, Styles and Jericho Well, it's three-way. Taking on Reigns again. Vaudevillains taking on New Days. Becky Lynch taking on Charlotte. Natalya taking on Asuka. Cena taking on Owens. Wyatt taking on Nakamura. Usos taking on Gallows and Anderson. Ziggler taking on Byron Corbin. There. Jerry Lawler is going to be appearing with wrestling legend Handsome Jimmy Fallon at Lawler's Hall of Fame Bar and Grill on Bell Street in Memphis. Hall of Famer is going to be there occasionally around that area about 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Lana is going to be working out this weekend with an NXT live events in Florida with the B Group as NXT main roster takes off to the Northwest. TMZ posted a video of Adam Rose and his wife Cassandra in court this morning. Cassandra talks about what happened that night and confirms that they are seeing a pastor for counseling. Rose due back in court to next month to face a misdemeanor battery and felony tampering with a witness. That video, if you want to see it, is on the Facebook page, Diamond Dan's website on Facebook, believe it or not. Thanks for clicking, you guys. I gotta go.